This game is frustrating, grind-heavy, rewarding, and extremely addictive. In fact, I can't put this game down, so the question is whether you should buy this game. In this video we check out Legends of Legacy, a game that will launch on Nintendo Switch on March 22nd. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and give a thumbs up. Let's go! First, I want to say that Legends of Legacy is an old game. It was released for Nintendo 3DS in 2015. So what is being released for Nintendo Switch is a remastered version of the same game. And this port is fundamentally very solid. Whether you're running around the open world, fighting enemies or bosses, or visiting the game's hub, you can tell that this is a well-crafted version of the game. Even though I've played this game for countless hours, I've basically never noticed either frame rate issues or unexpected crashes, and this applies both in handheld and docked mode. This is a game that performs very well on Nintendo Switch and maintains a high performance. So let's discuss how the game is designed. Although this game is part of the RPG category, I would like to say that there is a large emphasis on the actual gameplay, and in relation to this, very little role-playing. About, let's say, 95% gaming and 5% role-playing, give or take. In the game there is a hub. Here you can interact with some residents, you can buy items and save your game. There is also a boat that you can send on missions. It costs money to do so, but it can be worth it. When the boat arrives, it returns with treasures that can be very valuable. It could be armor or weapons or anything else that comes in handy. You can then sell what you don't need and get some money back. In fact, money can be hard to come by, so there is a point in trying to sell things you don't use or need. And some items you want can be quite expensive, so it's a bit annoying if you're bankrupt. It can therefore be worth thinking carefully about what you choose to spend your money on. Out in the world, you explore different areas and fight enemies. The exploration itself is based on completing maps to 100%. Once you have discovered everything, you can sell the maps and earn money. Each area is filled with enemies, and it can be difficult to run away from them. Sometimes I just wanted to discover new places, but then an enemy came and a battle was initiated. The maps or areas are, in my opinion, the main focus of this game. A lot of time is spent running around and investigating, and I really mean it. A lot of time. What you do, in addition to fighting enemies, is to find secret items and chests. You can also activate different pillars that help you along the way. Sometimes the areas have puzzle-like structures where the purpose is to open up new paths, so it feels like running around in a huge maze. But I think it's quite entertaining actually, and most areas are both aesthetically pleasing and varied, offering the player different challenges, so I rarely got bored, but a little confused at times. In the battles, which are turn-based, you use 3 characters. There is a lot of freedom when it comes to how you want to assemble your squad. I chose a fairly typical model, a healer, a tank, and a DPS. What is a little different is that your health is restored if you win the battle. Although, if a character takes red damage, your health pool is permanently reduced. At least until you return to the hub and sleep in the inn. This means that exploration can be hindered. You must ensure that you have enough health left to continue. The battles themselves raise some questions. I don't actually know if there is any way around this, but from what I have experienced, it seems that the enemies almost always gets the first turn. This is downright frustrating, and I wonder if there is anything that can be done about it. I don't know. It is especially annoying when you face 6 to 7 enemies. You have to wait until the enemy has individually made their choices. It takes a long time. This becomes especially noticeable if you frequently find yourself in combat. Another thing that is quite interesting is that you can discover and develop new abilities as you fight. And the stronger enemy you face, the greater the possibility of gaining stronger abilities. The abilities can thus be leveled up. What I discovered was that one of my favorite abilities came relatively late into the game. It is a strong AoE attack that does a lot of damage. While it is a relatively different way to develop and gain abilities, it is also very grind heavy. Expect to battle over and over, hour after hour, until you finally have the abilities you seek and need. But that's how the game is in general. Prepare to spend countless hours exploring and developing your characters. It takes time, but also feels rewarding. You work hard and finally reach your goals. Maybe you come from a place where you learned to master this game. Maybe you played this to death on the Nintendo 3DS. And basically know everything there is to know, and knows exactly what needs to be done to have a smooth journey from start to finish. Or you have never played the game before, you're brand new. Then there is a risk that you will be caught off guard, because there are moments in this game that are really challenging, and that can be seen as frustrating. Quite early on you come across a bird that easily overpowers you if you are unprepared. The difficulty curve is brutal. However, it is possible to run away from a fight if you realize that you have no chance. And I had to do this on numerous occasions, but it doesn't always work. Sometimes you're stuck and then the outcome is game over. This leads to constant saving, because you never know in advance how strong or how many enemies you will face. For some reason, many enemies are good at using stun effects, which can have a huge impact on the outcome of fights. As I said, you have 3 characters at your disposal, and if the enemy starts to stun you, then you can end up in a problematic situation. You cannot use your spells while the enemy can calmly damage you. So the question is whether you should buy this game. It is a game that puts a lot of emphasis on exploration and combat and less on role-playing. The narrative is relatively simple and is about the land of Avalon and all the secrets that await there. The control is easy to use both when running around and fighting. It is also easy to navigate the menus, and should you need help, there is a well-sized guidebook that provides important knowledge about most things you should know. It can be a bit complicated to understand how certain systems in the game are connected, but if you read about how the game works, most of it should be understandable. What I want to highlight again is that it is a grind-heavy game. Many hours must be spent developing your characters and exploring all areas. So that's basically what to expect. Performance is solid, both handheld and docked. This is a good port. So in summary, I think this is an entertaining and rather large game that takes many hours to get through. But is it worth the money? I mean, $50 is quite expensive, but I still think you get a lot of game for your money. So if you appreciate this type of game, then it might be worth a purchase. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. I review new games every week. Have a nice day. See ya!